The title of today's video makes me very excited because it means that these people actually quit and left their toxic work environment. And that is the ending that I want to see. Truly is, okay? Because you should always leave anything that is toxic for you. Snip, snip, motherfucker. Grab your beverage of choice. You know what time it is. There's lemon water in my water bottle, of course. Let me know what's in yours. Cheers. I don't know why I look in it. I have like this fear that there's something in there. Like a spider that's gonna... So I take a look. You never know. I worked for a privately owned bakery for exactly 1 week. The owner's son came in, walked past the counter, and went to the bathroom. He came out a few minutes later without acknowledging me or my coworker, got into his car, and drove away. We both looked at each other, then opened the door to find that this guy literally all over the toilet seat and the toilet paper holder. Ew. I called the owner and told her what happened, and she said, deal with it. You come deal with your son's shit. So I asked my coworker if she wanted to clean it up because I wasn't going to. She declined, and I told her I was walking out. She did as well. We locked up the store and told the owner we quit, but would reconsider staying if her son came back to clean up his own mess. She yelled at us and berated us for 20 seconds before I said goodbye and hung up. Absolutely not. You wiped your kid's ass one day. You changed his diaper for years. You come clean up his shit. I'm not. I'll tell you that right now. I'm a physician assistant and took a job at an urgent care facility. After working there for about a month, I noticed some irregularities such as, expired medications. Okay, perfect. Love that for us. And sometimes a lack of supplies. I wrote that off as the office manager not being as astute as she should be, and I brought it up to the doctor who owned the place. He said he would talk to her and straighten it out. Then one of the medical assistants came to me and said, "You know this has been going on forever, right?" She then said that things would never change and to get used to it because the expired medications had been on the shelf for months and they were told to never throw them out. Yeah, this is gonna piss me off. She then also told me that the autoclave, the machines that sterilizes instruments, was broken, and all they did was wash the instruments in soap and water and put them in the autoclave anyway to get them as clean as possible. That was the end of that. I made out okay, thank God. I was like, y'all, I hope this was reported and you didn't just quit and walk away. I made out a formal complaint to the state medical board and never showed up again. The state actually came in the very next day and raided the place. They shut him down immediately. They found so many things wrong that not only did they keep the place out of business, they suspended his license. That's the ending I want to see. He was also prosecuted on federal charges because he was running a scam for truck driver physical exams. What? Can't trust anybody. See? Like stories like this when it has to do with medical care, like you have one job. Why get into medical care if you don't care about the well-being of people? We're not gonna go on a rant. I'm choosing to be happy today. I don't wanna be pissed off today. I really don't. I don't wanna be annoyed with humanity. Not today, maybe tomorrow.
Let me check my calendar.
I worked in the kitchens of a pretty famous place. Don't make me guess. Tell me. We were a 365-day-a-year place. Tim Hortons, yeah. When I worked at Tim's, 24 days out of the year, Christmas morning, I was there. I love that I compared Tim Hortons to like a famous place. I called off on Thanksgiving because I was in the ER. I had an impacted tooth, and being young and stupid at the time, I ignored it. I woke up Thanksgiving morning with it so swollen I couldn't swallow, and it hurt really bad. I went to the clinic and it took a few hours. They gave me a shot of penicillin, wrote me a prescription, and sent me on my way. I thought I was in a good spot because I still had time to get to work. Then, walking out the door, it became harder and harder to breathe. I stopped and the room started spinning and I couldn't see straight. I made it back inside and told the desk I needed help. Turns out, I'm allergic to penicillin. Needless to say, I missed that day of work, and returning later, I was promptly written up for missing it. I turned in my keys and badge that day. What a day. Tooth pain is like no other. I've had my all 4 wisdom teeth, and they were like the impacted ones, like deep rooted. All of them removed, and I just remember the leading up to that, the pain, the after, like mouth and tooth pain. It's like something else. It just like affects your whole face, your head. Brutal. I began working at a restaurant in the kitchen. I overcooked a steak slightly, and the owner came back and threw a plate at us then a hot meat skewer. Wild weapon choice. Before storming off to his office, I dropped my apron, grabbed my bag, and told him I was leaving. His response was, okay, at the end of the night, you can go. My response was, clearly, you don't understand. I'm leaving right now. Here's my parking pass. I'll expect my check in the mail. Yup. Imagine you got hit with that plate or that hot meat skewer. That is a murder weapon. My boss accidentally replied to my email instead of forwarding it to his colleague. He went off about the hours I was billing and said they needed to monitor me and keep a closer eye. Questioning my hours was legit, but the language he used was downright out of line and super insulting. I replied to his email and said, I think you meant to forward this to X. I've worked for you for 5 years and I've never given you any reason to question my character or integrity. I quit as of today. He never replied and instead sent the colleague to contact me and try to work it out. She was super condescending and really only made me more upset. I just replied to her that they owed me for my current hours. They refused to pay me. It was only like $200, so I didn't fight it. I was too upset. I got my own petty revenge before I lost access to the system though. I worked for free throughout COVID for that guy. Because I wanted to keep my job after the pandemic. Screw him for screwing me like that. You worked for free? Bless your soul and your dedication to that company that never deserved you. That's the best part about leaving any kind of toxic environment like that, especially when it's like a workplace, because you leave and you're just like, you know, you never even deserved me. You didn't. It's like a breakup and a toxic ex. You did not deserve those years and that time of my life that I dedicated to you. And you definitely don't deserve the tears. That's the right answer. I got mugged on a delivery for a popular pizza chain. Oh my God. And came back to the shop crying and panicked. I had my phone, wallet, and pizza taken, not the pizza. I told my manager what happened. Are you hurt? No, but I lost my phone and wallet and I need to call the police. No time for that. Here's your next delivery. It was like 2 blocks from where I was just mugged. I just went home. The police never really did much to get my phone and wallet back, not like they could. I've never even thought of that. Not even just pizza. Think about all the Amazon deliveries. Think about people who deliver TVs and shit like that. I've never even really taken a second to think about the fact that at any moment they could just be mugged. Package stolen, food stolen, and then on top of what they're taking, like the delivery, they can just mug the person. You got a phone? Give me the keys to your car. You got a wallet? What you got on you? I really feel for you guys. I've never really thought of that. And I know that can happen to anyone, but it's especially easy if you see someone in the neighborhood delivering. You can just get, I'm not trying to pan this out for you. I mean, I'm not trying to help. I'm painting the picture too much here. When I was 18, I had a summer job at a small landscaping company. The foreman chewed me out for laying sod incorrectly. I had no experience and no training. Then he told me he'd break my arm if I kept taking unneeded breaks, when in reality, I was just getting water. I got back to the shop and was told to go mow the owner's lawn. They lived just up the road. I drove home instead. Yeah. I feel so bad for people like who work construction and stuff out there in the summer in the heat. I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all do it. Like roofers, construction, how are you out there in that heat every day, all day? For a living. There was a leaky ice machine at the well-known fast food place where I worked. I couldn't see the icy puddle because I was carrying my tray to lunch and I slipped and landed square on my back and head on the concrete floor. Lawsuit. Could be a lawsuit? I guess we'll find out. Luckily, I was wearing a hat and a hairnet. My hair definitely cushioned my fall. Work had a cursory look at my head, said it looked all right, then said I should go home. On my own by bus. Always. You can't always tell someone has a concussion, y'all. I later found out they didn't pay me for the rest of the day. I got home and felt a bit funny and my neck and shoulders kept hurting more and more. When I woke up the next day, I could hardly move my head because the pain was so bad. I went to the doctor who said I had severe whiplash. I was in pain for weeks and weeks. That was my last straw at the workplace, where I had been sworn at and called an idiot by the manager and had my shoes stolen in the break room. I never went back. I successfully sued them for a decent sum of money for loss of earnings and the pain and injury. The company ignored my lawyer's letters for 2 years, and when they did agree to go to court, the judge said, "Too late. You ignored this for too long, so you have to pay the full amount." Oh, and they never called to check if I was okay after the fall. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Even if I was a manager or a supervisor, I would be so concerned that it was more serious than what it appeared. Everyone knows you can't always see the signs of a concussion. Always go get that checked out. I had a horrible concussion one time. My very first time I fainted in my life was in high school. Never experienced fainting before at that point. I had no idea what it would be even like to faint. And I remember I felt weird, and I went out and I was like so dizzy, and I leaned against the lockers like this and then woke up on the floor. I literally was like this, and I went back on the concrete, and I woke up. I just remember waking up cold because I was like laying on the concrete, and I remember waking up being like thinking I was waking up for the day, like in my bed. I remember being like, what the fuck? And my head was throbbing. I had a huge goose egg. They had to call my mom to come get me. I had to go, and I had a concussion. It was brutal. And I've been fainting ever since. Love it. Did y'all just hear my neck crack? Girl, this is 32, bitch. You are almost there. A few years back, my wife's health started to that makes me so sad. My wife's health started to deteriorate. She was in constant pain and really struggling. It was a big change for both of us, and I had to leave work often to take her to the doctor. One day, my boss said she needed to give me less hours because I was missing shifts. I accepted that and was willing to work with her on it. Then she said, "I mean, you don't have to leave early every time your wife hurts her little finger." I quit on the spot. Yeah, clearly you're not understanding the situation. Like, imagine you were the wife whose health is deteriorating and your husband's boss said this to you. Pretty sure you'd want your husband's boss to be supportive of that and to help any way you can. And he's taking it. He's like, "Fine, I understand. You got to give me less hours. Let's work together on getting through this." That's terrible. I used to work at a chicken joint, and one day I accidentally threw away some tongs. By the time I realized it, I had already bagged and thrown away the trash. My supervisor had a meltdown and said that the tongs cost the restaurant like $80. Really? So he demanded I go into the dumpster, open up every bag, and find them, or otherwise he would write me up. It was a midsummer and a day before trash pickup. Ew. I was up to my knees in trash bags. I lost my balance and accidentally punctured a bag, which caused gravy and sauce to explode on the side of my pants. I climbed out, handed him the tongs and my hat, and walked off. I never went there again. I can't even believe you went in the garbage and got the tongs just to quit. I think I would have just quit. I'm not even getting the tongs if I'm quitting. All right, y'all. Have you ever had a toxic workplace environment? And if you quit, you gotta tell me, like, how good did that feel? How good? Let me know. I'm out of here though. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy, and I'll see you tomorrow.